A man grew his hair to 22 feet. His story will astonish you. When he was still in his golden years, Tran Van Hey made headlines worldwide. He chose never to cut his hair again after becoming seriously ill after shaving his hair at the age of 25. His hair was more than 22 feet long and weighed about 23 pounds about 50 years back. Since the Guinness Book of Records never formally weighed his hair, Tran Van Hey was known as the unofficial guy with the world's longest hair. His wife, Win, says the physical transformation of her husband bleeds into his personality. The more his hair grew, the more inspired the local Buddhist monks became. As a herbalist, he devoted the remainder of his life to treating people and never cost his patients a dime. He kept his jaw-dropping locks, described by Metro as a massive furry boa constrictor, balanced under a scarf on his head. Tran Van Hey passed away from natural causes at the age of 79 in 2010. He was remembered by his friends as a kind and compassionate man of the people. Due to several factors, from religion and culture to chic and utilitarian, a normal human wear a hat or a scarf. Although everyone who met Tran Van Hey of Vietnam knew that he liked to wear a headscarf, they never knew exactly why. Tran kept his head concealed from view for almost 50 years. Although it was apparent to everyone who saw him that under his scarf there was something, they had no idea what it was or why he wouldn't show it to them. Then Tran decided it was time to let his family and friends see what was under his scarf after 5 decades with his head hidden. As he removed it to show what all those years he had been hiding, people were in absolute surprise. It was a giant, matted lock. Many people couldn't believe what they saw, but they were fascinated as he started sharing the tale of why he had wanted to avoid shaving his hair entirely all those decades earlier. Tran had a painful experience after getting his hair cut at a nearby barber shop when he was just 25 years old, according to his wife, T. Hoa. What came later permanently altered the course of his destiny. Since leaving the barbershop, Tran became seriously ill, and not having to endure such crippling side effects of the disease again, he decided it would be better if he never trimmed his hair. What seemed like an impossible notion quickly became a reality to him. Tran never let another comb, trimmer, or pair of hair scissors enter his hair from that point on. His wife discussed how it changed his whole attitude to let his hair grow out this way, too. As Tran's hair started to grow, as his inspiration, he began to look at Buddhist monks. That was when, and he quickly became a herbal doctor, Tran decided to devote his life to helping others. Tran continued to diligently cultivate his hair for the next 5 decades. He had been neglecting to care about it all the while. Instead, he decided to hold it on top of his head in a matted clump. Whenever they saw it up close, people marveled at it. When they came, it was normal for all of Tran's patients to want to see his extremely long hair. Some of them have commented that it appeared like an anaconda or a boa constrictor when studying it. Ironically, the weight and height of Tran's hair were impossible to manage, even though he had initially avoided shaving his hair to prevent health issues. It was also too heavy and cumbersome to work with, and it became impossible to even get up. Tran refused to stop working no matter how thick and long his hair grew. He took his role as an herbal doctor very seriously, especially given that he provided his medicinal services free of charge for the most part. For the elderly man, daily things, including walking and riding his bike, quickly became overwhelming. Of course, he could take local motorcycle taxis to get around, but he could match his growing hair without a helmet, and the drivers declined to be responsible for his safety. Tran gained attention every time he went out in public. People always asked if he was going to let his hair get too long. Yet, while they did not favor it, he decided to continue to let them grow. His wife said that he started washing it altogether after 43 years of consistent development. At the time, he was 68. Tran had become so used to his hair that he begged his family to take care of his hair after he passes away, thinking they should have it as a keepsake. Tran passed away of natural causes in 2010. His wife kept her word and shaved his hair off and stored it in a glass jar. His black hair continued to fade into a slightly lighter brown color over time. Tran's scalp, after his death, was weighed by his wife. It was about 22.5 feet long and weighed an astonishing 23 pounds. Interested buyers bid approximately $2,500 to Tran's wife to have it, but she declined all their proposals. As it turned out, Tran's length of more than 22 feet may have entitled him to have the longest hair in the world, but Guinness World Records never formally tested it when he was alive. However, the truth was in the images. It's unknown if he had wanted to have his hair shaved, Tran would have faced the same condition, but it wasn't a gamble he had ever been happy with his decision. While his hair may have been a strain on his mobility, with his long locks, he seemed to love his time.